What's up, Lazy Dog fam? Hope everybody out there's having a spectacular day. Today on our farm is harvest day. I got a lot of stuff I want to pick or that needs to be picked, so I got my buddy Abram here and we're gonna go gather some stuff from the garden for some nice little weekend meals. What do you got there?
A gourd bowl.
A gourd bowl?
See, so if you make a gourd bowl like this, see, it's hard to
hold it up so they can see it.
See, it's hard to break. Look, even I help with these big scissors. It help a big scissors won't even.
We may need to grow some of these ourselves. You want to try to grow some?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try to grow some right now. Let's go pick some vegetables. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, so first thing on the list is squash and zucchini. We've already harvested them one time. Got a little tiny harvest, enough to get some grease hot, but hopefully we'll get more today. There's one right there. Can you get it?
Yeah.
Break it off on the green part. Careful.
I got a lot in here. Dad, look at this.
Yeah, there's a good one right there.
Whoa, look at this. That's a good one.
Here, let's go ahead and get this this baby one right here. Those are kind of good to eat. You got it? That's called a grenade squash.
Whoa, look at this one, Mommy. With the grenade squash or the normal squash?
Well, these are just normal squash right here. This is a squash called Delta squash. You see any more grenade squash? Looks like we're going to have a bunch of them pretty soon. They're not quite big enough yet. There's one right there.
Look how fun my hand.
Mama likes these things picked small. We're going to get them about that size right there. Where? Oh, that is a big one. Grab that one. Grab it and kind of twist it. There you go.
Oh, here's two humongous ones. Let's get this.
Twist them. That's a good one right there.
That's a good one.
All right, how about these patty pan squash? Look right here, buddy. Patty pan, yeah. Twist it. There you go.
That's a good pie.
That's a good patty pan. Let's see if there's any more of those. You got it?
Yeah, I like picking these.
Those are loaded up, ain't they? I don't think they're quite big enough yet. Give those another couple of days. Let's look in here. Oh, a monster right there.
Little monster. I think.
Oh, good one. Let me see it. Show it to the camera. That's almost too big. We don't like to let them get much bigger than that. So when we grow squash, we like to stack them in here along the row pretty tight, just a few feet apart, as opposed to planting multiple rows of them. And once they start growing, they'll kind of vine out in either direction. We can kind of train them all to go one way if we want to, but that just seems like a better use of space, or it has for us, as opposed to growing multiple rows. So we stack them in here thick, and they're all looking pretty good right now. No signs of any disease or pest pressure, which I know that will come, but everything's looking pretty good right now. So what's interesting about these patty pan squash, I think this is a variety called Moonbeam, but that one there looks almost more yellow, and that one there looks almost more green. Same variety, same row.
And this one
that one kind of looks like yellow. Yeah, that one plant's producing kind of yellow tinted ones, and the rest of them are kind of green tinted there. As far as our squash and stuff, I always like to pick them kind of on the small end. Sometimes you miss a few and zucchini get that size, which is probably what you're used to seeing at the store. But we like to pick them on the small end. They're a little more tender that way. That size, or for the yellow squash, that's the perfect size right there. What you got in your bowl there?
A giant pastry pot.
Let me see. Did it fit?
Yeah.
Barely?
Yeah, look. Look at this.
A bowl full of squash. All right, we got the squash picked. Still not producing super heavy yet, but probably will be in the next week or so. Now I think I got some leeks ready. So I got my fork here. We're gonna go try to dig a few leeks. So I've let the weeds get the best of me here a little bit in my elephant garlic and my leeks. And well, it is what it is. I need to get it cleaned up. But some of these leeks are looking pretty big, especially that guy right there. And these things are really, really strong rooted. So we're gonna have to dig them up, but we'll be able to get a few of them out of there. All right, so I'm gonna try to uproot it a little bit, and then you can pull it up. Oh, this ground is hard. Dig around it a little bit. There we go. Now pull it up. See that root structure right there? These things make a ton of roots. and that's why you have to dig them up. We should have put some more, we should have healed them more, Bubby. We didn't get a very long leek there. Let me see your scissors. Let me show you how to do this. First, I'll take your scissors and cut that off. And then come right here. Cut them off like that. Throw them in the basket. Got it? Okay, get those right there, buddy. Shake the dirt off of them. Got a lot of dirt on them, don't they? Here we go. Here's one. Here, you trim this one. I'll get the dirt off that. All right, let's try to get some of these on the outside here. Oh, that ground is hard. There we go. See, we don't eat this green part on them. We just eat this white part, so that's why we gotta clean them up. You hungry for a snack?
What is this?
A flour snack? That there is called celosia.
Can I eat it?
No, we don't eat those. These are the ones we eat right here, the nasturtiums. Pick one of those orange ones. Let me see. You gonna eat it? Is it good? What does it taste like?
I didn't want to see how it tastes like, so I just like swallowed the rest whole.
So we still got quite a few leeks there to harvest. Some of them can stand and get a little bit bigger, but this is be enough for what I'm trying to do. And we can tell we didn't get enough dirt up around them. We didn't heal them as much as we should. Usually we can get that white edible part to be about 5, 6, 7 inches long. But there's enough there to do what we're gonna do with them. And we just didn't get around to healing them, and that's what happens, but still some decent size on them there. So the reason I didn't eat a whole lot of leeks is because I'm planning on making some leek and potato soup. So it doesn't take many leeks to just kind of saute in the bottom there and give it some good flavor. Our potatoes here behind me haven't started dying back yet, so it's not time to come in here and do a full row harvest. But I accidentally nicked one of those hills with the lawnmower the other day and unearthed about a baseball sized Yukon Gold tater. So I figure it's time we can do a little scratching around and get enough to make a pot of soup. So these are the Yukon Golds right here in this row, and that's what I want for the potato soup. You find anything, buddy?
Look,
Go ahead and pull up that plant.
look at these, come on.
There's a few small ones on there. There's our seed potato piece.
Oh, man.
Oh man, there we go.
Woo.
Let's dig around here and see if we can find a few more. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
There's a good one.
yeah, that's a good one.
Good one's right there.
Oh, yeah.
That one's ready. Those are good ones right there, bud.
Daddy, there's another one. Find a big one. Woohoo!
Let's get a few more.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Oh, let's pull this one up.
Okay, pull this one up.
Oh, this is a good one.
That's 4 good taters off that one plant right there.
Now let's pick this
Okay,
one.
let's get one more.
Now let's pick, you pick that.
Oh goodness. Oh, there's a honey hole right there. So these are kind of long, skinny taters here.
Oh yeah, take over the world. I got a big one. Oh, look at this one.
That's a
Dad.
good one.
Can you-
Oh, there we go. How about that?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
So we just dug about 4 or 5 row feet off some Yukon Golds and just a few plants off those French fingerlings there, and got a sack of taters worth there, enough to get a good batch of soup going. So we'll saute those leeks in the bottom there, cook our potatoes, and we'll like to puree half of them and then put that back in there, but get it nice and thick and leave the other ones in chunks. But that's going to be some fine eating right there. So here on the Lazy Dog Farm channel, we like to take advantage of time travel. We like to enter the quantum realm and travel in time. So we were just in the garden with Bubby, and we travel in time a few hours later at night, and we're in the kitchen, and we're going to show you what we've been doing with some of these red onions here.
So good.
So good. and I wish I had a jar to show you, but we've already eaten all the ones we've made, so it's time to make more pickled red onions. First time we've ever made these, and they're absolutely delicious.
They're so good.
We used them on tacos, all kind of different stuff.
I think they would be really yummy on a cheese platter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to put them up, we're going to be using these fancy looking jars right here.
So fancy. These they're not warped. We bought them like this.
Yeah, they're these little spiral jars. I was in Publix one day getting some stuff, ran across the can and stuff, and with all of it being so scarce, you might as well, you know, buy some stuff if you see it available.
Yeah, it was like 6 months ago.
Yeah. And they had these in like a little 4-pack, and the pickled onions really look cool in here. So you don't have to use these to make pickled onions.
Clearly not.
But it'd be a lot cooler if you did. So we keep our onions out in the barn on a storage rack. We've showed you guys that on a previous video. I like to clean them up outside just because they can be kind of messy. So I got them cleaned up outside. This is kind of what they look like when they're cleaned up. Not massive onions, but big enough for pickling some. And in hindsight, I wish I would have grew more of these. Just grew one row of red onions. Probably should have grown more. Note in future years. You can slice these things however you want, but this is kind of what you're going for. These are fairly thin. Some of these slices are a little thick. This is the thickness we went with last time, and it worked just fine. You could go thinner if you'd like. So we use a mandolin here. I did this because Brooklyn's not allowed to use this tool. When we were in college, she got her thumb really good. We use the guard on there, obviously, and when you use that, you have a little bit of onion left over, so we're just putting this in the fridge. We'll save that for a roast or some kind of soup or stock or whatever. No need in wasting that. Anyway, so we use the mandolin. I have it on that setting. We could have got it thinner if we wanted, but this is thin enough, so I slice them in rounds and then I cut them in half. A couple recipes said to quarter them, but we found just cutting them in half like that is plenty fine. They'll all kind of tease apart once we cook them in just a minute.
Okay guys, so this is the recipe that we're using. This is the recipe we used the first time around as well. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, that may be the easiest way to keep up with it. So the best thing that I like about this recipe is that you more than likely already have all the ingredients. It's really simple. It's just vinegar, sugar, some pickling, canning salt. This is not something you want to substitute though. There's something about something with the balance in it, this type of salt rather than regular table salt, that you really need in order for it to pickle correctly. So don't cut any corners on this. Now when it comes to the other spices, the celery salt, the peppercorn, and the red crushed pepper, the original recipe actually called for celery seeds and we didn't have it, so we just added celery salt and we really liked it. So we just stuck with that. And this is probably something much more likely that you have in your cupboard already than celery seeds. So it's really simple. This is a half a cup of sugar. I'm going to use a tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of pickling salt, 1 1/3 cup of vinegar. Add that all together. Now remember, you're still going to use your normal canning rules. If you've never canned before or done anything where you put anything up in a hot water bath, I would suggest that you maybe do some other videos on that because we're sort of shortcutting to just the recipe part. But remember, you want your jars to be warm, and so a lot of people recommend you can go ahead and put them in your huge canner that you have with the hot water to get them really warm. I don't really do that. Sometimes it just takes a little bit too much time, so I just always make sure I have hot water sitting in them, or I fill the sink up with hot water and do that. So let's go ahead and add all our ingredients and start making the actual pickled onions. Alright, so the first thing you do is you add your 1 cup of water, your 1 1/3 cup of white vinegar, it's half a cup of sugar, it's 1 tablespoon of pickling salt plus 1 teaspoon. I have a half a teaspoon here, so I'm going to do 2 of these. Alright, we're going to bring this to a boil, and then we'll add our onions once this is boiling.
So this is what we call the brine.
Right.
And
right.
we'll, once we take the onions out of here, we'll actually pour this into the jars as the liquid in the jars.
Yes. So you'll use something like, I use this pasta noodle strainer. That's going to be the easiest way to get your onions out of there, because you're not going to try to pour this straight into jars. It would make a total mess. You pack it full of the hot onions first, and then you pour this liquid on top. And you may have some left over. Alright, so we've brought this to a boil, so now we're going to add these onions in. Ooh, try not to spill them. Just stir them around. There's no exact time to cook this, but you want to try to get as much liquid on top of the onion as possible. And we're just going to watch and see when they become soft. Like whenever they're all separating and they're all sort of falling apart, that's when you know, okay, these are good to go. I hope you can notice how the half moon shape that we had before is gone. That's how you know when they're ready. See, now they're much more pliable, they're not as stiff. The brine is coming up over the onions, so they're ready to go. So we just took the 3 different seasonings and mixed them up in here together, and we're just gonna sort of eyeball about how much goes in each jar. If you don't want to go ahead and pre-mix them, you can always just put it straight in your jars. And we like to put it in the bottom. Some people put it in the top. It's up to you. Alright, that looks good. So now we're going to spoon our onions into these jars. I have lost my spaghetti spoon. So put that in. And this is why it helps so much to have them split, so you can pack more in the jar. And you'll just want to push it down so you can get as much in there as possible. We have our jars filled, and now we're going to top it off with the brine. I'm just going to pour that in there. I'm going to put a little bit more in there. You want to leave about 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch of headspace. Travis kept telling me there wasn't going to be enough brine for these, but I knew I was right.
Oh, ye of little faith.
I have plenty of brine. So the recipe told us to use some sort of wooden skewer or chopstick or something that's shaped similar to this to get any air bubbles out. So I just run it around the outside, and you can see the air bubbles sort of pop up to the top. And I'm just poking it along. I don't know if that's the right way to do it or not, but that's how we did it last time, and it worked. As always, you need to keep some sort of dry cloth around, something that won't leave lint, and wipe off the top of your jars. You want to make sure you get a good seal. You'll use the same towel to sort of grab around the onions because they are going to be so hot, and then tighten them up. Travis normally goes behind me and retightens these two.
So these only take 10 minutes in the hot water bath. I know some things they tell you to do it longer, but we did these 10 minutes last time. They sealed up just fine. So we're going to put these puppies in here. And we don't use a rack on the bottom if we're doing just a few jars, like 3 at a time. It's usually not a big issue with stuff clanging. If you're doing a whole pot full, you might want to use a rack. It looks like we're going to need to add some water in there to get it over the top of those jars.
Yep.
And there's the finished product right there. I would highly recommend making more of these than you think you're going to need, because they're going to be so good, you're going to want a lot more of them. If for some reason these jars don't seal, you can just put these things in the fridge, and I promise you'll eat them by the time they go bad. So let's jump back into the quantum realm, go back a few hours to earlier today, where I want to show you one more thing in the garden. Now, a week or so ago, we did a video comparing our no-till garden plot to another garden plot where we had the same variety of beets growing in each. And I just told you or showed you those beet greens in this no-till plot that were looking awesome. And a lot of people were wondering, well, what do the actual beets look like? Are they just all greens, or do you got some good beets down there? And it's getting about time to pull this whole row, so I thought I'd show you what we got. Now, I'm not going to pull all of these right now. I'll just grab a few of them out here to show you. I'll probably pull the rest this weekend. But if we look down in here, just grab us a handful out. You can see there, we got some nice sized beets in there. Really good looking beets. I think they're bigger than the ones in that conventional or non-no-till plot. The good looking beets here. This is a variety called Vulture that makes kind of a semi-cylindrical beet. Those are going to be quite tasty. And I've already pickled some, and we'll probably pull the rest of these, eat some of those greens, and give some of those beets away, because we surely got plenty. If anybody has problems with rats getting in their tater plants, I've got an easy solution here. You just rescue one of these guys and let them camp out in the taters. Take care of any rat issues. So we got us a nice little haul of veggies in just a few minutes out here at the backyard grocery store. On the taters, I kind of meant to just scratch around. Sometimes you can just scratch around there and pull one or two out without pulling up the whole plant. I was gonna let some of the others get bigger, but Abram has a ball digging those things, so ain't gonna hurt anything to sacrifice a few row feet for a little fun. I don't really need them to get a whole lot bigger. I don't know if you can see well because it's kind of shaded, but those are almost baseball size right here. That's about perfect for me. So they're about ideal size. I imagine the ones we let go all the way to when the plant dies are going to be really, really big. Well, that's perfect size right there to me. So if any of you out there have started scratching for taters yet, let me know in the comments below how yours are looking. Looks like it's going to be a really awesome tater year for us. And if you've got any good leek and tater soup recipes, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, ring the bell, like, and share. And we'll see you next time right here at Lazy Dog Farm.
Oh, farewell, by the beauty of your life.